Hello guys, welcome to the channel. So what exactly we will learn in today's session is to how to insert an element at the linked list. So if we are having a linked list, say for example like this, 10 and 10 is pointing to 20 and 20 is pointing to 30, and now if 30 is the last node and it is grounded, means it is pointing to null, and we have been asked to add, say for example, 7. So 7 is going to, so in this case, so previously our first node is having head pointer. First node, I mean head pointer is associated with the first node because this is the head node, and last node is basically defined because this node is pointing to null, so it is grounded. So whenever we are going to insert this element at the beginning, so what could be the strategy? Strategy is first to create an instance. Say for example, this is temp, which is having 7 and which is initially pointing to null. So our agenda, our expectation would be like 7 is going to point 10, and 10 is going to point 20, and 20 is going to point 30. So by definition, that is the last node. So it is going to be grounded, and 7 is going to be the first node. So head pointer right now is not going to point 10, rather it is going to point head. So this is going to be our new linked list after inserting element 7. So that is the expectation. Now, there is one corner case. What that corner case is, suppose you have been given an empty linked list. What do you mean by empty linked list? So there is nothing, only you can assume like we am having null. So whenever I'm going to add, say for example 51, so we have to make an element 51 and we need to ground it, and this is going to be pointed by head pointer. So that is the expectation, that this linked list will be having only one data member or only one node, and that node is going to be 51, because 51 which is been asked to put over here, and that node is going to point null because it's the only one node. So let's jump into the code and try to understand what the code is or how we can put the logic, and and we will also do a dry run over this. So the first thing, what exactly I would like to mention here, so that we know how the node class will look like. We know like how to print the linked list or print the element of a linked list. So we are not discussing it. Rather, we are discussing like we are having an existing element and we are trying to insert something. So whenever a data member is given to us, like x is the data member. So how we are going to make it? First, we need to create an instance of node. Say, for example, node is basically, I'm taking a reference temp, which is going to point a newly created node with the value of x. Okay. So that means in this case, the diagram will look like you will be having something like this, that x is your this is going to be your temp. So x is going to be a data member, or x is going to be the value of temp, and this temp will be grounded because you have written in the constructor like the next is equal to null, and now you are pointing to insert. So essentially this temp dot next is going to point to the head pointer. So head pointer, we are having head pointer in the linked list. So head pointer's address. So if you are having a linked list something like this, 7, 5, and 10, and this is your head pointer. So what is going to happen? Like temp dot next is going to be head. That means temp pointer next is going to point head. So that is the first line. Now, one thing again, we have to make sure like the head pointer is basically temp dot next. That is perfect, but we have to make sure that head is basically pointed out by the temp only. So what does that mean? That means we have to also change the location of head pointer, and that is essential because of what? Because this is something, so we can say like return temp. So whenever we are returning temp, that means it is going to give us like head pointers, right? It is going to give us head pointers because we are returning name temp. So in this class, we can write a class like we can write a method like insert, where we can take this x as a parameter and node as a parameter as head. So this x is going to be integer, right? And we can say like insert is going to return node type class. So whenever it is returning temp, we can utilize this with the existing one. So that is the, now just let's see like how the code is working over here. So if we just come here, in this case, the same code has been written over here. Now if we just see the caller method, we have created initially head is equal to null, okay, and then we are saying every time whenever insert begin method is being called, whatever the pointer it is returning, that we are assigning to the head pointer. So that means every time head is getting modified with the newly added element. So first the newly added element is 30, so now the head pointer is pointing to 30, then 30 20. Now just if we just try to understand, this is 30 20 10. Okay, so how will it look like if we just try to understand creating a new one? So initially we are saying like our head pointer is pointing to null. So whenever we are adding a new element, so it is something like that. So 30 is basically pointing out by, it is grounded, and this head pointer is basically pointing to 30. Next, what is going to happen? Next 20 and 10. So next, you are creating 20, and your temp pointer was at this point, so you're returning. So this is your next stage, and third stage is going to be 10, is going to be pointed 20, 30. So head pointer is going to point over here. Now, because every time whenever we are creating, we are giving the instance of temp, and that temp instance you have written like head is equal to temp, right? So if we just see this line, insert begin is basically returning temp, and that is getting assigned head. So the head pointer gets changed. Head pointer is pointing to the element which is having value 30. Next line, head pointer is pointing to element which is having value 20. Next line, head pointer is pointing to node which is having value 10. So in this way, we are changing head pointer, and you can see like print list is the function which you have written and discussed in the last video. So it is taking head pointer. So that is the final linked list after adding all the nodes at the end, head, or inserting at the beginning. And we are asking to print this thing. So we have added like in this manner 30, 20, 10. So now head pointer is pointing to 10. If we just run this, then the answer will be 10, 20, 30. Yes. So that's the answer. If you just add another element, say for example, you want to add, say for example, you want to add 100. So your answer would be, right now 100 is going to be printed first, 100, 10, 20, 30. Hope you are understanding this. So guys, please share your comment and try to share and like this video if you think that this video is really helpful, and also let me know like how can I improve myself. Thank you so much.